investigating what appears to be an attempted assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump. We are told the former president is safe after shots were fired in his vicinity while he was golfing at his club in West Palm Beach, Florida. That's just about a 15-minute drive from where his Mar-a-Lago club is in Palm Beach, Florida. Moments ago, we got an account from the Palm Beach Sheriff's Office detailing how all of this unfolded, Wolf, and it is quite stunning.
It's stunning and very detailed. In fact, very, very revealing. Law enforcement officials saying a person has been detained in connection with this incident that occurred at the Trump International Golf Club around 1:30 p.m. Eastern earlier this afternoon. U.S. Secret Service agents fired gunshots at the suspect, who they believe was armed and intended to target former President Trump. An AK-style long-arm rifle with a scope, 2 backpacks, and a GoPro camera were recovered. Let's go to our panel right now and get Charles Ramsey's assessment of what's going on. The fact that there was a scope, Chief Ramsey, it says to me, it explains, I think in part, why the FBI has concluded this appears to have been a second assassination attempt against Trump.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, clearly, in my mind anyway, that's the appropriate classification for this particular incident. We're just fortunate. We're very lucky. We were lucky in July in Butler, Pennsylvania, and again today. But luck only goes so far. And so everyone has to be incredibly vigilant, enhance security, not just for the former president, but for all of the candidates, because we're just in an environment right now where you have a lot of unstable people who apparently are not afraid to try to actually harm someone. So we're very fortunate that the Secret Service agent was able to spot this and able to take immediate action and prevent a tragedy from occurring.
And that Secret Service agent spotted the barrel of a rifle sticking out from those trees near that golf course right there. And that's when shots were fired at the suspect, and eventually another individual saw what was going on and took some pictures of the vehicle that the suspect was using, the license plate, and eventually the suspect was captured in Martin County, just north of Palm Beach County, not very far away. Jonathan Wackrow, the fact that there was a GoPro camera that was right near that fence, near those backpacks that this suspect had over there, what does that say to you?
Well, listen, Wolf, I think that a lot of these elements speak to an elevated level of sophistication by this shooter, right? So the GoPro camera was the intent here to live stream this attack. By the fact that we saw those, we heard reporting that I believe we heard it during the press conference as well, that the backpacks contained ceramic plates. Again, this was really setting up a firing position. The shooter probably intended to engage directly with Secret Service agents at one point. I think the Secret Service structure, though, the protective methodology, by putting out agents in advance of the protectee during their golf operations to really flush out this along the edges of the fairways really proved successful. This is a model that the Secret Service has applied to these types of activities for a long time. I mean, dating back to, I believe, the Bush and Clinton administrations, where putting agents anywhere from 75 to 150 yards in advance, again trying to expand out that protective bubble around the protectee, just for this very reason. But it's difficult. I mean, they're out there flanking the protectee for a long time. This person obviously set up their location. They had a level of cover and concealment to launch this attack. They most likely had a line of sight from that fence line back into the fairway. That's disturbing. And more troubling is the accessibility, the ease of ingress and egress by this attacker. They had that escape route. The critical factor that we heard during the press conference is the witness. They saw the suspect running away, getting into the vehicle. And I think Andy McCabe said, very smartly, the person took out their phone, took a picture of the car, and then got the license plate. the communication with federal, state, and local law enforcement entities through the real-time crime center got that information out almost instantaneously. And utilizing license plate readers, they were able to track the direction of the vehicle, make the vehicle stop, and get the suspect in custody without incident. So this is a real big success for law enforcement, and it all centers around the coordination, the rapid coordination of information and dissemination to all stakeholders. We heard that during the press conference. It was great to see everybody reassuring the public that there's no additional danger, and that all stakeholders within the law enforcement and prosecutorial community were represented there.
And you can see how close this golf club is to Interstate 95, a major highway going all through the state of Florida, all the way up the East Coast as well. Caitlin, go ahead.
While we're looking at this, I just want to keep this image up because you're seeing Trump International Golf Course right here. We're highlighting hole 5 and hole 6 because that's where we believe Trump was getting close to when the agents were walking ahead of him. And what's remarkable about this is they were talking about the 3 roads that are the access points. The Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office is right there to your top right, a little bit above where hole 5 is. The Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office in the jail actually backs up to Donald Trump's golf course in West Palm Beach, Florida. And just to give you a sense of what we were looking at on the ground and how quickly officials were able to move here, and they put out that be on the lookout alert for the person that the witness luckily was able to see a person leaving the bushes, emerging and getting into a black car and then driving, which they apprehended on I-95 just north of Palm Beach County, and what we're looking at here on this image. And so, John Miller, when you look at this and what we've heard from officials, they would not say outright that they have a suspect in custody, but the sheriff said, John Miller, that they have a potential suspect in custody. And so when that is the case and they have someone that they are obviously questioning, what we were told earlier is that this person has not made any statements yet, but they did describe a calm demeanor earlier when we were hearing from the Martin County Sheriff about actually apprehending this person and turning them over to the FBI. What does this look like behind the scenes right now?
Well, he is definitely a suspect, and he is definitely in custody, and all the qualifiers that law enforcement uses, potential suspect, person of interest. Once the state's attorney took the podium at the press conference and said, we are preparing charges and we are preparing for a detention hearing where they're going to argue that this suspect is dangerous and a flight risk, that means he is on his way to being charged here. Some of the mechanics behind that, Caitlin, were there was that witness on the scene that we've all talked about. He snapped that picture. He saw that person. And there's a Secret Service agent who may have confronted him and seen him as well. But that witness was brought to the scene, and they did what we call a show up, where, they have him in a vehicle where he can look out at the person in custody. And he's asked, is that the person you saw? And he answered in the affirmative, we are told by law enforcement sources, as he did that show up. And they then took him into custody, impounded that car, and so on. There are, 2 different stories in the forefront here. One, as Jonathan Wackrow really well explained, is a combination of old-fashioned police work, shoe leather, grab a witness, combined with modern technology. Here's a picture, here's a plate, put it into the LPR, license plate reader system, look for the first hit. It hits on 95. RTCC, the real-time crime center, is spinning the registered owner of that car, who it belongs to. All of this is happening rapidly, and Martin County, which hasn't waited, it has already flooded 95 looking for that car heading south with units, then does that vehicle containment technique. They block the car in on 3 sides, come out with long guns. And when the sheriff describes, the Sheriff Snyder of Martin County describes his calm demeanor, we have to put that in context. When the suspect gets out of that Nissan vehicle, he is looking at multiple AR-15s and handguns pointed at him from multiple directions in this vehicle containment technique where they've blocked him in on 3 sides. So he can be nothing but calm. And he was compliant with the commands they gave him, and then he was taken into custody. So a lot went right today, and a lot came together.
Well, and Andrew McCabe, when you look at this, and Wolf, I was just thinking about this, when you look at what we're hearing from officials, and you see those two pictures there of the backpacks that were left at the scene that they found inside these bushes, on the right side of your screen on the left, that's a GoPro camera, official said, that was mounted on the fence, and then two bags as well. Andrew McCabe, when you're an investigator and you're looking into that, I mean, it clearly speaks to some kind of premeditation here of what they're looking into when they're talking to this suspect who was in the bushes.
There's no question, Caitlin. This, as Jonathan mentioned this a little bit earlier, this whole setup indicates a very high level of pre-planning, and that is done because